Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. This is another episode with Cage Lawyer. He was on about a year ago, and then he was on just recently, same editing session. But this is one where he wanted to talk about it. This was his question for me, because I wouldn't have put it this way. It's not that he had mean things to say about BGS, but he just thought it needed some fixing. So he wanted to know what I would do. And I think that's a private matter between me and the regime at Beckett, the company over there. They're just across town, and I've made myself available. I've made some suggestions, but they've got a lot of things on their plate. Like I said, I think they've taken it under advisement. Some of the things they agree with, some of the things they've earned the right to make their own decisions. But I appreciate Cage, I think for the most part, really, I think trying to be constructive in the criticism, and not just the criticism, but hey, how could this be fixed? How could we make it better or bring it back to the luster that it had 20 years ago? That was good. I appreciate that. Cage, again, he's never lost for words. If you were battling him on the other side of a courtroom, I think he could out-talk me. But it was my podcast, so I was able to manage the time in a way that I hope you enjoy. And I think Cage enjoyed it. I certainly did. So here it is.
I got a question for Dr. Jim Beckett. Let's change your name to Dr. Jones. And I say I'm going to take you for a ride to a grading company in Texas called Beckett. Now, you're not Dr. Beckett. You're Dr. Jones. But you know all about this company because you're still the collector you've been for all this time. About the legacy of the company, about all of it. All right? And we are here in 2024. There's been consolidation in the space. The last time you and I spoke, I think there were 47 grading. There's not anymore. We don't even track half of them. So forget about all the other ones. Forget about the ones that are not on Ryan's gem rate report. Heck, that's even consolidated now because SGC has been purchased and they're part of PSA. So you've got to consider it a three-horse race between the PSA conglomerate now and CGC, right? If you look at those numbers, how do you fix that? What does Beckett have to do? This has got to be the easiest question in the world because I know you've already probably told them 10 things that they have to do. Your listeners, tell them. Tell the people who are going to check this out what needs to be done.
I can't really answer it in a strategic way, Cage, because I have given an earful to the leadership there, and I think they're taking it under advisement.
Good. So then I'll change my question.
But I have some very direct things that I would do that I suggested, and I won't say they're overwhelmed, but they're trying to do their day-to-day stuff. They need to hire some more graders. That's tricky because the grading process at BGS is frankly more complicated.
Why?
Because of the report card, the inner sleeve, there's more steps in the process.
Is that
I think most consultants would come in and say, get rid of it. In fact, I think that's what they started doing. You got to be like everybody else, get rid of the 9.5 gem mint, bump that up, be like everybody else, get rid of the report card, get rid of the inner sleeve, make the slab cheaper, lower your prices, improve your turnaround. And that's not what I said. I went the other way. I think when we made inroads, it was because we were the alternative, innovative, responsive brand.
Yep.
When I was there, but I'm not there anymore. So I don't have a vote. And I don't want to say, hey, I just want to go back to the old days. No, there may be some things that could be changed. And I gave them some ideas of how some things could be changed, but not the core DNA, the essence of the product. There was nothing wrong with it, but they've had some PR blunders and they've fallen behind. So it makes me sad, but I'm not the one that's going to fix it. Other than the fact that I'm a pro bono consultant and I'm here to help them think through. If they want to say, hey, what if we do this? What do you think? I will shoot straight with them.
So follow up to that. When I talk about Beckett with folks, look at the videos and I make comments on it. They even reached out to me.
They were a sponsor of your podcast at one point.
Onto the podcast. But even this most recent time where they put out videos, they reached out to me beforehand. Just like I'm sure they reached out to you. And I gave them also some insight. And they put out the videos and then they did nothing. What I get in response through DMs is Beckett is so far gone that it cannot be saved. Tell the people who are telling you that why they're wrong, or are they right?
I'm Jim Jones. Actually, that's not a good name because he was the guy that had the poison Kool-Aid 40 years ago down in Central America. And if I'm some other guy, I'm just saying it's a formerly strong brand that needs to be polished. It's not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not going to be the solution, but I'm going to try to be helpful to my friends that are there. There's some great cards that are in the holders. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just been poorly marketed, Cage.
Do you think part of it has to do with the attention span of the next generation of collector? And I ask this in a way, I'll use my own son. My son does not want to watch a 2-hour movie with me. He does not care about the nuance of a lengthy movie in the beginning. He wants to watch a YouTube short. He wants to watch somebody play a video game, even though he could play the video game himself, right? Is the future collector, the young kid, the Andrew, my partner of the world, the people who came in looking to transact quickly, is the nuance. The thing that might have appealed to someone like you or me or somebody 15 years ago, the inner sleeve, the grading report, the subgrades, the extra time that it's taken, the slab, the extra cost and time that's associated with it, is it just bells and whistles that are unnecessary to the new consumer? And is that part of the problem? And I blame these youngsters.
No, I had a suggestion about that was based on a more entry-level product. That I wasn't going to tamper with the BGS, kind of we'll call it the flagship brand, but the original brand. And I'm not talking about BCCG, but a third situation that would accommodate some of those things. Because I think that 10 is a 10, a 9.5 is not a 10. So there's some logical things that wasn't a problem back in 2000 to 2005 or 6, but it is now. And it's because they haven't marketed it properly. But again, it makes me sad, but it's not irreparable. Cage, if you come down to the Dallas show and you walk around, you're going to see that one of the busiest places, it's a whole room, is the area. They have lines out the room for getting graded, way more than any other grading company. Now, it's a home court advantage, perhaps, but there's no thought that they aren't the major player at the show.
I'll tell you what my answer would be and tell me where I'm wrong. Or say, kudos, Cage. That's what I would say, but I'm not allowed to say because I'm going to call you Dr. Beckett again. So with that being the case, and there's still demand for it, do they just turn the opposite way exactly? When every consultant who comes in is telling them, make it a 10, get rid of the 9.5, streamline the process, blah, 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 do all that stuff. Is it better to realize that you don't have to compete with PSA, let's say? You're not going to grade that, at least not right now, right?
That's exactly where I fell on this, is I didn't fall down. That's where I lean into our strengths and our market different and educate. And the brand new customer, all they hear is PSA.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, if you pull a game used thicker card and you want to get it slabbed, you're going to choke on the price that PSA is going to charge you with the up. And the BGS slab is more protective. You're going to know exactly what you got. And so that's why BGS was getting a lot of those big time cards.
Yeah. I just graded.
There's a niche, but I will say this, and this is not appealing to people not in the industry that don't care about our hobby, but in our hobby, it's okay for me to not grade as many cards as PSA. I never wanted to be a Me Too service. We had our own distinctives. And if we do those distinctives, and for many years, we had a fabulous business, very profitable. I'm not trying to overtake PSA. I want Beckett and BGS to be the best they can be. And there's a lot of room for improvement, but it's not making radical changes. It's getting the word out and having the best customer service in the industry, which is not even close to that now.
Which is a shame because for someone like me and someone who's collected for a little while, the name itself means I still have Beckett cards that I graded in the 2000s that I still have in my collection. I remember opening Bowman Baseball where Bryce Harper was on the USA team and grading them with Beckett. You never even thought back in, I think it was the 09 set. You never, Strasburg was in. You never really thought to even send it anywhere else. Beckett was the place to grade. And that was because 20 years prior, I was opening my Beckett magazine and it was the name. I think I'm with you. We can't agree on everything. You can have the tall boys, I'll have the fat boys. But yeah, do what you're known for. You don't have to be a Me Too and copy PSA and try to chase PSA. Just be Beckett again.
When I was there, I'm not a big marketing guy, but I'm very consistent.
Yes.
Accurate and trustworthy. And so that's all they need to be. But they can't be silent. You can't go dark for a year.
It's true. You need to face
that. But we had our customer service was almost non-existent for collectors. We spoke to the collectors through the magazine. Our customer service group was huge. And all they did is deal with hobby shops and dealer accounts. And we were very responsive there, okay, because those were bigger accounts. But the individual collector, we responded to them in mass. We were always surveying them. We didn't give individual responses as much as we were out there and figuring out what do they want. And then we did it. We didn't say, hey, we're going to do this. We just did it. And they could say, okay, we've been talking about that and they did it. And that's what they need to go back to do, I think.
I love your backdrop, but what's the red label behind you there? That slab with a red label on it. I can't even tell what kind of card it is. It's on the same row as Belichick, but on the other side. You got the Belichick like pro line there, but if you go across, it looks like a red slab. It's got a red label on top of it.
That one over my shoulder?
Yeah, I've never seen a red slab. Is it a sticker?
No, it's Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. Okay, there we go. I'm like, I see I'm like, I don't remember.
It was a gift that we sent out. It's very limited. It went out at Christmas of 99 or 2000 when we were doing grading. So we did, and a few of them are autographed by Santa.
All right.
One of my rare cards.
The